What up, world? 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 This is the main man. I am DJ Double Dose, man, coming at you once again for Double Dose Reality Sports, man. We back, baby. Hey, man, listen, man. I know it's been a little break. I had to take a little break, man. Shout out to the Jackson Olin class of 1999, man. That is my class. That is the year I graduated. And we had a nice weekend in New Orleans, man. You know, it's always good when you get back together with some of your old classmates. You know, a lot of us, we friends on Facebook, so we kind of already kind of know what each other is doing. But, you know, sometimes it's cool to, you know, sit down and chop it up with your classmates. You know, the kids ain't around. It's just nothing but adults, man. And we had a good time, man, kicking it in the NO, man. I always have fun when I go to New Orleans, man. It's one of my favorite cities in the world to go visit. I mean, need we say anything else? New Orleans is king when it comes to food. I mean, you're going to go there, you're going to gain about 5-6 pounds the minute that you get there, man. But so that's why we was on a little break, man. Also, man, just always remember, man, to make sure that when you following my show and tons of other shows, make sure you follow The Post Network, powered by Roku, man. The Post Network, powered by Roku. So if you got a Roku device, make sure you go ahead and download the network, man. We on there. We going live, man. You know what I'm saying? We had a big meeting maybe about a week and a half ago. So there's going to be some more things in the can that you're going to see coming from the network, not just from me, myself, coming from a lot of other shows, man. We got a lot of things coming and getting ready, geared up for the fall, man. It's time to work, man. I got one more vacation in me. Well, I'm going to be gone for a little bit for my birthday, and that's in August. So outside of that, man, we're going to be locked and loaded. But now that we got all of that out of the way, listen, on this show, whenever I am wrong, because I'm going to let y'all know when I'm right. So whenever I am wrong, I must come address the things that I was wrong about. Okay? This hurts. This one stings for a multitude of reasons. But there's a lot of reasons why what I'm about to say stings. But it is what it is. You know, when you get yourself into the limelight of sports, especially if you're going to talk about it, you have to be objective. And when you're wrong, you have to admit when you're wrong. Boston Celtics, hats off. I salute you. Does this thing? You goddamn right it does. Damn it, we was tied 17 championships apiece. Now you got one up on us. So hats off, man, to Tatum and Brown, the coach, Missoula, White, man, and also the main person I want to give a hat off to, because Brown and Tatum, they young, they got a lot ahead of them. But Al Horford, man, we gonna make some motherfucking noise for Al Horford. Those of us who have been knee-deep in the NBA over the last 2 decades, we all know that Al Horford has been in the league, I think they said 17 years. I remember Al Horford when he was doing this thing down in Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta had some decent teams when he was there. You know, so to see him persevere, still have a career, I think they did a special with him and a few other people that's left in his draft class that's still playing. I think it's only like, it ain't that many of them left. No, I don't want to say the wrong number, but all I know, the number is very small. It ain't that many of them left. So hats off to Al Horford. Hats off to the Boston Celtics. We have now closed the final chapter on last year's sports season. We can go ahead and close that book. It is closed. It is a wrap. And now we must, as we are in June, mid-June, heading into July, we got to go ahead and get ready for what's coming next. Hence the title. 10 games that will impact the season. Now, I say the season, for this particular show, we speaking on college football. As you know, that is what we are. I don't want to say what we known for, because I mean we talk about all sports, but that's what we get knee deep and we go hard, man. So, you know, without further ado, let's go ahead and crack. Oh, make sure it ain't showing, because we ain't doing no sponsors yet until they tell us. No free ads. You want us to advertise it, we're gonna have to pay us. But 10 games that I feel will impact the season. Now, before we start this, let me tell y'all something right now. Okay. These are 10 games that I feel will impact the season. Now, there's a couple on here that I'm going to explain why they will impact the season. Man, come on, y'all probably ain't going to agree with. And it's okay. It's all right. It's cool. Ain't no problem. Ain't no biggie, But I just want to throw that out there, just so you know, because some of these games I'm probably going to mention, a lot of y'all going to scratch your head and turn your eye. But for me, they have interesting storylines, and I, for one, am going to be tuned in because although I'm a Florida State fan through and through, it's behind me every week. You see it. I love college football, and I watch them all as much as I can. I'll just say that I ain't gonna tell that lie that I watch them all. I probably watch more than the average person, the average casual fan. I probably watch more than them. So one of the very first games in week 1 coming out of the chute, I can't wait to see. You know what? I wish they both could lose. Lord knows, it wouldn't be nothing sweeter than to see this damn game end in a tie. But we know that can't happen. But let's kick it off. Very first game that I feel will impact the season because it's going to impact the season, not playoff, because I don't think neither one of these teams is going to make the playoffs. So it's not going to have that type of impact. It's going to have the type of impact on the coach that loses. We're going to start this thing off with none other than Miami at Florida. Listen, I don't know if those of you who right now still ain't geared up to fully watch, have gotten your minds fully locked and loaded on the season yet. And if you haven't, I understand it's still kind of early. So I trust me, I understand if you haven't gotten your eyes fixated and loaded on the season. But let me bring you up to speed in case you did not know. Okay. Florida has probably, arguably, the hardest schedule in college football this season. They do. And if you don't believe me, here's a cast of characters whom which Florida plays this year. Let's go ahead and run down the list. Because if you hadn't paid attention to their schedule, I'm going to go ahead and enlighten you right now. Go ahead and enlighten you. They kick off the season, of course, with Miami. Then they got Sanford, okay. They got Texas A&M, who we'll talk about them on another episode. Not in this one. They got Texas A&M. Got Mississippi State, okay, no problem. UCF. Now, when you hear UCF, I know you say, oh, it's Central Florida. Gus got himself a quarterback now. He got KJ Jefferson, and they in the Big 12. So this isn't a Conference USA team anymore, or AAC, whatever conference it was in prior to, in the Big 12 now. So you got UCF. Then you got Tennessee. All right, cool. And you got Kentucky. Okay. And then this is where it just goes completely left. Once you flip over the calendar into the month of November, I don't know who in the world y'all pissed off in the SEC offices. I don't know. I guess y'all must want Billy Napier to get his ass up out of there. But come November, we're going to go down the list, and then we're going to get back to this game. They face Georgia, November the 2nd. Texas, November the 9th. LSU, November the 16th. Ole Miss, November the 23rd. And FSU, the very last game of the season on November the 30th. Now, when you listen to that, pair that with Tennessee, pair that with Texas A&M, outside of Alabama, they literally play everybody who could possibly win the SEC. Outside of Alabama, they literally play everybody who is being talked about as a favorite to win the SEC. That's Georgia. That is Texas. That is Ole Miss. You got some who have Tennessee as a dark horse. And when we get to Texas A&M in another episode, you're gonna see Texas A&M. I got has a good case to be our Louisville from last year, and Texas A&M. Mix that with a non-conference schedule of Miami, Florida State, and UCF. I don't see 6-6. I don't even see that. They will be lucky. And I know my Florida fans gonna hear this part of the show and think I'm hating, but it's fine. It's cool. Y'all know how I feel about y'all. They'll be lucky. 5-7 will be a good year with that schedule. So the importance of this game for Florida is they need this. It's a home game against Miami, who they need, if nothing else, they need this for confidence. I mean, I know it's the first game of the season, and we all know that just because you win or you lose the very first game of the season, especially in a non-conference game, that doesn't, quote unquote, matter in the grand scheme of things. We know that. We understand that, and we know that. However, with what I just read out to you within their conference, and at the back end of all of that, you're going to have to play FSU at the very end of the season. Starting 0-1 against Miami when you have that month of November waiting on you, losing to Miami in the first game of the season in the swamp, man, I just don't see that if you lose. I just don't see that if you lose that game. I don't even see losing that how you get 5 wins. I'm sorry. I did. In order for you to get to 5, Miami needs to be 1. Mississippi State needs to be 2. Sanford needs to be 3. Kentucky needs to be 4. And UCF or Texas A&M need to be 5. You have to pull off that victory against Miami at the beginning of the season. And for Miami, the same can be said for you, because going into the season with the way that Clemson looked finishing off last year, Louisville will arguably have a tougher schedule this year. Unlike last year, we ain't got to be the dead horse. We pointed out why Louisville was able to do what they did last year. You are looked at as the third likely to win the ACC. So if you are looked at as the third likely to win the ACC, you look at what you acquired in the offseason. Cam Ward, I think his last name is Rodriguez, the running back out of Oregon State. Streppel came back for his 15th year, feels like. We know Mario recruits well. So if you're Miami, this is a statement game for you, because this is a way to validate all the offseason hype. You come in the gate, everybody has been giving you all of this praise. They've been saying how Cam Ward is the leader that you guys needed and all of this. And this would be a way to just it doesn't mean that they're going to win the ACC. It doesn't even mean that Mario won't fuck some up later on down the line, because we know he's going to. So it doesn't even mean that. It just means that, hey, some of the shit that y'all heard in the offseason, we came out week 1, we put it on the field, and y'all see that we coming this year. So, and on the flip side, if you lose this game, Mario, to Billy Napier, man, I don't even want to, coming off the season that you had last year, man, to start off 0-1 with a loss to Florida, man, that might even impact in some ways. That might even have an impact on recruiting, because let's be honest, Florida has still recruited decent. You know, their recruiting has still been solid. That will go a long way. Games like that, especially in the state of Florida, go a long way in recruiting. So That's my first game. Kind of long-winded on that because it has a lot. We're gonna speed it up just a little bit. Next one. Who gonna play defense? We got LSU and USC. We all watched last season. Neither one of these jokers played a lick of defense at all. So coming into this season, it's not even about can the defense be this great defense. Hell, can the defense just be average for either one of these motherfuckers? Can the defense just be average? Can it just be average? Because, I mean, if either one of these teams can put together an average defense with what we know they're going to be able to do on offense, I know somebody will say they both are replacing two dynamic, obviously, first-round draft pick quarterbacks. Both are replacing them. But as we know, it's two things it's one thing for sure, two things for certain. Lincoln Riley, no quarterbacks. So whoever wins out the battle ends up being the starting quarterback. We kind of already know who it is, but you know how coaches speak. I trust Lincoln Riley when it comes to quarterbacks. So I'm not really worrying about the offensive side of the ball. I'm not worried about it with USC. I'm not worried about it with Lincoln Riley at all. Ever, never have been. Defensively, that has been his question mark going all the way back to freaking Oklahoma. So this game is in Vegas. I mean, what other place would you want to see this shootout than in Vegas? It's literally going to come down to which team decides they're going to play some defense and get us. When I tell you this is probably out of every game on this list, I'm damn near more excited about watching this than damn near all of them. There's probably one or two of them that's more that I'm more excited about, but this one is up there. So LSU, USC, interesting too. I mean, both change defensive coordinators, and we're gonna see. And on the LSU front, I mean, I trust Brian Kelly. I mean, he's done a good job at LSU. He just hadn't had a defense just been not so great. You know what I'm saying? But overall, he's done a good job. A lot of people thought that he wasn't going to be able to. I don't really want to say compete, but you know how SEC fans are, especially the homers. They feel like anybody that's not from the SEC that comes into the SEC that they're gonna struggle and have a hard time. Same way they said Missouri couldn't do nothing, and we saw Missouri go to the SEC title game twice. But anyway, so I trust Brian Kelly. I mean, I trust Brian Kelly. I trust he's going to be able to do the things that he needs to do. Like I said, the biggest question mark for both of those teams will be where do they go on defense? We'll see. Next on the list, we got Texas going to the big house. Now, those of you that know from last year, hey, Bama fans, hey, hi. Y'all know about Sark. Y'all know about Big Game Sark. Big Game Sark get on that road. Woo-hoo-hoo. When Big Game Sark get on that road. I'm just saying, that was last year. But you got Texas and you got Michigan. We got the new look Michigan. Well, pause that. We don't want to say new look Michigan because Sharon Moore, he won a few games last year while Harbaugh was serving suspensions and everything else. Sharon Moore's a damn good coach. Sharon Moore, I'm sorry. A damn good coach. And for those two in that matchup, if you're Texas, this just further itches if you're Sarkisian, this just further just puts another feather in your cap because you are building something at Texas. So to be able to go to Tuscaloosa last year and win, if you walk into the big house, and I know Michigan, a lot of the same players are not there. I get it. Or you say, they ain't the same Michigan team, though. They ain't the same. I get it. But for you to go on the road for another season and go into the defending champion's house and pull off a win on the road yet again. You want to, like I said a couple games ago, talking about putting people on notice, putting people on watch. That's putting people on watch. And if you're Michigan, this gives you an opportunity to show, hey, we still here. Harbaugh left, but he left it in good hands, and we still here. You know, USC, Oregon have now entered into, Washington, all have now, UCLA have all entered into the Big Ten. Ohio State, they could arguably have one of the most talented teams in the nation. You let Texas come in here and you're able to pull off this victory. If you're Michigan, even though you're at home, you're able to pull this off. That puts people on notice like, okay, all right, Michigan ain't really slipping like that. So I like that matchup a lot. I like that game a lot. I like that a lot. It's gonna have a lot of legs to it when we get closer to it. I like that game a lot. Ohio State and Michigan. Ohio State and Oregon. I'm sorry, we jumping ahead. Ohio State and Oregon. Oregon is walking into the Big Ten as one of the favorites. If I'm Ohio State, I'm offended. I don't give a damn if they've recruited well. I don't give a damn if their coach is this young, hot shot, up and coming coach who rallies everybody, who's getting them in position to do big things. I don't give a damn. This is my conference. This is my conference. And this is my year. So if you're Ohio State, it's Oregon. Oregon's hearing everything about how they could come into this to this and win the conference. But if you're Ohio State, this is okay. All right, cool. And we get to do it in your house. You don't come to Columbus. We coming to Eugene. So we get to do it in your house. And it's far enough down in the season that by the time they meet, because Ohio State's defense is going to be good again this year. The offense is what's going to be the question. That's the question. Who's going to be quarterback? How is Chip Kelly going to be able to run the offense with all of those new pieces that they added, the pieces that's there? So the question is going to be the offense, not the defense. But they play this game and it looks like in week 7. So by then, that's damn near the midway, a little over the midway point. So if you Ohio State, whatever you got going on offense, you gonna know by the time you go to Eugene. You're gonna know. And if you're Oregon, you would have played a few Big Ten games and we'll know if the physicality of the Big Ten, if you have been able to withstand it by then. And in this game, if you manage to pull this off, hey man, that whole new sheriff in town, I'm the big dog. Because think about it. Penn State can't get it done. Penn State can beat everybody ass in the Big Ten except for Ohio State and Michigan. So if this is Oregon's first year in the conference and they managed to beat Ohio State, hey man, impact game right there, man. Impact game right there. And oh man, we got a few more to go. But buddy, this one right here. We may have to make this a part 1 and part 2. We may have to cut it off at this one because you know how we don't like to go too far past 30 minutes. So you know what? We may have to cut it off at this one. We will see. Kirby Smart. I gotta take the glasses off again. Kirby Smart. Now, Kirby, you got 2 national titles. You do. You have a losing record against Alabama. Now, you did get a pass. Well, you really didn't get a pass, but a lot of people kind of was like, you losing to Nick Saban. It is what it is. He does it to the best of them. Not many of his assistants, not many of y'all have pulled off victories against him. But Kirby, you won't be on the hot seat. You won't be on the hot seat. But I'm here to tell you something, Kirby Smart. And Georgia fans, I know y'all ain't gonna like it because, man, you know, some of you new Georgia fans, whew, y'all are a mess. I wouldn't want to be in your position on Sunday morning if you go into Tuscaloosa and lose, to not only lose to Alabama, but to lose to a first-year coach who's not even an SEC guy, and to lose to him. You know, I know people don't believe in jinxes and hex and curses or whatever kind of bad mumbo jumbo you want to put with it. People don't really believe in that, but I mean, my brother, there is absolutely no reason why Georgia should not go in. Again, I don't even want to sound that strong because I just put my foot in my mouth in the SEC championship game because I didn't think that Alabama was going to beat them in the SEC championship game. But hey, we saw how that went. And for the ball, on the other side of you, Alabama, you're playing with house money. Nobody expects you to win this game. Nobody expects Alabama to beat Georgia, not in this scenario. When people start doing team records, the vast majority of everybody will have this as a acceptable loss for Alabama. Outside of probably some people that just truly, outside of the fans who love Alabama and the media experts who just forever just can't shake it or who need to see it, the vast majority of everybody will have this as a loss for Alabama. The majority of people will have this as a loss for Alabama. So if you the boy, I mean, what are we doing? Man, you can empty the clip. You can empty the clip. I mean, whatever plays that you look, you can. We all know what emptying the clip means. It means leave nothing unturned. Whatever you got, you unload it. And guess what? If you manage to pull this off, oh my God, we ain't gonna be able to shut y'all ass up. And if you a Georgia fan, I hate to break it to you, I feel bad for you. Because if Alabama managed to pull this off without Nick Saban and a first-year coach, oh my, because you know y'all ain't gonna face him again in the regular season for 1,000,000 years. Because you see how long it's been since y'all faced in the regular season up to this point. So that's gonna be a regular season win that's gonna stick for a while. So I look at this as a way to a game that's gonna end this one. Now, this one right here is going to have playoff implications because that's going to be another segment because we got a lot of shows coming because I don't think nobody's going to come out of the SEC undefeated. Not with the way everything is with the schedule and everything like that. I don't think nobody's going to come out of the conference undefeated. So this right here, since there's no divisions and I don't think nobody's going to come out as undefeated, this is a head-to-head situation right here. This is a tiebreaker situation right here. This is a classic tiebreaker situation right here. Because if Georgia and Alabama end up with the same record going into it, or and there's a third party that may already have a slot, and then it comes down to them two, whoever won this game, even if they got the same record, whoever won the game is going to be the one that goes. So this right here will have this. Georgia and Alabama will have direct implications on not only the SEC, it'll actually have playoff implications as well. So that one will impact the season. FSU and Notre Dame. I had to throw my boys in there. FSU and Notre Dame. I threw that in there. It's a late one. It's later on in the season, but this is another one of those games where Notre Dame doesn't have a lot on their schedule this year. Notre Dame has a manageable schedule this year. And Florida State, for all intents and purposes, should be in the playoff conversation. So by the time these two play all the way in week 11, the playoff picture will have taken shape. We'll kind of already start knowing some of the players, and we'll kind of start knowing where we are, by the time this game actually takes place. So if you're Florida State, this is one of those situations where it's just like, hey, depending on where you are within the season, this could be a nice little pocketed win for you, for the committee to view us in a positive light. And if you know the Dame, this is just another feather in your cap to move along with your season. So that's another game. And it really won't have ACC implications, because at the end of the day, Notre Dame is not fully in the ACC and they won't play for the ACC title. So it won't have conference implications. But as far as positioning within the polls of trying to be a playoff team, it will have implications as far as that goes. Miami and Duke. I threw this one in here, and then be quick on this. I threw this one in here because this is another one of those. Mario got a couple of these on his schedule, and this is another one. Manny, in case you didn't know, Manny Diaz is not a head coach at Duke. Miami plays this game right after they play us. They play FSU. We all know how when Miami loses to us, usually how their season goes. And this is a game that's going to be directly after us. Actually, it comes behind. They play Louisville, they play us, and then they play Duke. And Manny Diaz is not going to hold anything back in this game. He's not. He would love nothing more. I don't think that it happens. I think Miami wins this game. All hate aside, I think Miami wins this game. But Manny Diaz would love nothing more. He would love nothing more than to win this game. To just pretty much just dig that knife into whatever Miami has going on in their season. Manny Diaz will love nothing more than to dig the knife in. So this is one of those games that I know a lot of people don't care about, especially if you're not an ACC fan. You're probably not going to watch because you probably could care less. But for me, just for the pure humor of this, I will be watching this. And if it comes on at the same time, something else I need to see, I will definitely record this and go back and rewatch it, regardless if I know what the outcome is, because this shit is, you can't make this up. You can't make this game up, and it's just funny to me. We got Ole Miss at home versus Georgia. Ole Miss is a team that a lot of people have as, I don't even want to call them a dark horse, but they have them as one of the teams that could possibly win the SEC this year. Lane has went all in with transfer portal, with his recruiting. This is his year. This is his opportunity. This is his year. This is his opportunity to further solidify Ole Miss as a team to be messed with. So you got the game. You at home. You in the Grove. It's probably more than likely going to be a night game. I'm sure of it, but we'll see. And it's just another test. Georgia, when we break down y'all schedule later, I don't know who y'all pissed off. You know what? Y'all didn't piss nobody off. Y'all had that cupcake ass schedule last year. That's exactly what happened. I don't even have to second guess it. Y'all had a cupcake ass schedule last year. And you didn't win it. And here's your gift. The very next year, here you go. So that's one of those ones I'm looking forward to. We got two more. Then we out of here. Ohio. Nope. Before we get to that one, Colorado and Nebraska. You say, Ben, why we talking about Colorado and Nebraska? I'm gonna tell you why. The reason why is because this game is early on in the season. It's real early. And we know what happened last year with the Dion and the hype train, but we know how it sputtered out. But there's been a lot going on in the offseason with Colorado. It's been a lot. There's been a lot going on with Colorado in the offseason. And if you are Nebraska, you would love, and you're Matt Rule, you would love nothing more than to be the person to kick this thing off, and set the wheels in motion for Dion to possibly have another shitty season. You would love absolutely nothing more than to be able to do this. Ironically enough, this is going to be a night game. It is a 6:30 kick on NBC. So it's a 6:30 kick on NBC. So all eyes will be on it, and it's on NBC. So all eyes will be on this game. That time of night. I don't even think. Let me look. This just to the further solidified within that week, that night. Hold on. That's at 6:30. Is there anything else going on that night at that time, around that time frame? Nah. I mean, you got Tennessee and NC State. They play that night. They play around that time. Nah, they got it. That is it. That is it. As far, I mean, there are other night games, of course, but as far as games that people gonna really be watching, nah, man. That's it. That will be all. I don't care if you love Dion, you hate Dion, you like Matt Rule, you don't like Matt Rule. That game is a 6:30 kick on NBC. Everybody in America will be watching that game. That cares about college football will be watching that game. So, and if you Dion, continue to build on what you did from last year. Show that you can sustain winning and let that be your launching point. Let that be your launching point. Let that be the way to quiet everybody who thinks that you might be a subpar coach, who think that the program is more reality TV than it is a football program. Just go ahead and do your thing and beat Nebraska again. I mean, beat them again. You did it once, do it again. I'm pulling for you in that game. I don't want to see Nebraska win that. Sorry. Call me what it is. And before we get out of here, before we go, because we will definitely talk about this game in several more episodes. Ryan Day, Ohio State, the Ohio State, has arguably the best roster going into the season. You have lost to Michigan a few years in a row. You have watched Michigan win a national title. Your collectives stepped up, got you more players that you needed, and you have built one of the, if not the best roster in college football this season. And regardless of what we talked about earlier with the Oregon game, that doesn't even matter. You could lose that game, but win this one and still be where you need to be. If you're Ryan Day, there's a tremendous amount of pressure on you to win this game. There's no way to put it. Boosters, fans, collectives, they don't believe in sometimes they don't live in a rational world. And yeah. This ain't one you want to lose. This is not one that you want to lose. I don't care if you win this by point. Doesn't matter. This is not one that you want to lose if you are Ryan Day. So, with that being said, this is the last weekend of the season. As always, it is the game. We know it's going to come on at noon. Everybody's going to be watching. And if you are Ohio State, this game will have, this is another one of those. It was only a few on the schedule that was going to have playoff implications. This is one of them. And on the Michigan side, go do you. Do what you've done for the last few years. Punch them in the mouth, play physical, dominate the line of scrimmage, and win the game. It's just that simple if you're Michigan. And if you're Michigan, this can go either way, whether you are trying to punch your ticket in the Big Ten championship and possibly a playoff berth, or if the season didn't go the way those expected, this would be a way to just have a nice smile going into the next season. Either way it goes, on your end, if you're Michigan, it can end in good places for you if you pull out the victory. So those are my 10 games that I feel will impact the season. We got way more shows to come, so we got way more shows like this. I kind of like this. This is where we can talk more ball about everything instead of just focusing on one thing. I kind of like this. So we're gonna break it down conference by conference too. I'm gonna have games that impact the Big 12, games that impact the ACC, and so forth and so forth. So stay tuned, man. We got way more episodes to come. Like I said, man, we are wrapping up June, getting ready to go into July. Media Days is coming, and you already know once August hit, it's on, man. So let's just enjoy a little bit more of the summer that we got. I want to thank each and every one of you for continuing to listen and rock with me. Like I said, man, we're going to have guests. We got a lot more things we're going to do this upcoming season, a lot more content coming from me, from the network. Just stay tuned. Just keep riding with me. Make sure that you continue to tell a friend to tell a friend. And if you're on Facebook and you haven't already, go follow the show on Facebook. I post stuff from Double Dose of Reality Sports all the time on my personal page, but it's Double Dose of Reality Sports, man. Go ahead and follow the show, follow the page on Facebook. You know, I'm working on the Instagram. That's next. I'm gonna do a show Instagram so I can get away from my personal stuff. And just continue to rock with me and vibe with me, man. So, you know, I love y'all. I appreciate it, man. Buckle up. This is gonna be a fun, fun season, man. And do what we always do, man, because I enjoy my life and I want you all to make sure you do the same, man. Live, laugh, and love, man. Live your life to the fullest. Love on the people that love you back. Find something to laugh at each and every day. And I'm out.